Welcome back to Our State of Education here on 760 WJR, brought to you by the Skillman Foundation, which invests over $20 million each year to strengthen education for students in Detroit and across Michigan. Now, to help us dive into today's conversation, here's my co-host, Skillman President and CEO, Angelique Power. Angelique?
Hello, Lloyd. I'm so excited for this conversation today. As I mentioned in the intro, we are sitting inside of the Skillman Foundation. We have three brilliant young people here. I want to start just by setting the stage as to why it is so important, not just on this radio show, but in general, to talk to young people, especially when you're talking about policies and systems that impact them. You hear a lot about Gen Z, but I don't know how much people know about that generation. These are young people who are aged 13 to 28. There are 2 billion Gen Zers on the planet right now. And they are such a creative generation. They are in schools, and many of them are also in the workforce. Many of them have already created their own startups, their own businesses. And a differentiator is that they usually tie the work that they do or the places they show up with social impact. They care about the world in different ways. They are also funny. They are ruthless about millennials, I have found. And the language is something that I have to always have explained to me. My child hates it when I'm like, am I rizzing it up? Or no cap. She's like, please stop doing that, Mom. So the other reason why we think it's really important is that often when we talk about policy, we talk about things that impact young people without young people in the conversation. And because at Skillman we work on education, we don't want to make that mistake. We have young people who are on our board of directors. We have young people who are grant makers inside of our foundation. And as often as we can, we seek input from young people, because even everything I said about your generation, many of you are not like that. You have your own perspectives, your own point of view. You are not monolithic. And so welcome to Our State of Education. On this show today, we are going to talk about education with 3 high school students as they enter a new school year. Joining us today is Geresy, who is a junior at Grosse Pointe South High School. Leela Dahabra, who is a junior at the International Academy in Oakland County. And we have Messiah Bethel, who is a senior at the Jalen Rose Academy in Detroit. Thank you so much for being here and donating a part of your vacation. When this airs, it's actually going to be your first day of school. So as an introduction, first tell us who you are. And Grace, we're going to start with you, but describe yourself in the way that your best friend would describe you.
I think my best friend would describe me. She's my sister. Maybe I think like funny, like happy, and like very outgoing, like very like enthusiastic about like everything, and maybe like annoying to some people.
Is it literally your sister who's your best friend?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right, Messiah, you're up next.
I would say they would describe me as, I'm pretty funny.
You got jokes.
Yeah. I'm pretty laid back. I'm pretty chill, and I'm not much of a talker, but I'm pretty quiet. But I'll talk if I have to, and talk if I guess, yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to talk today. Anything else they would say?
I'm very passionate.
Yeah,
that's just one. Yeah.
Cool, awesome, Leela.
I think if my friends had to like describe me, I think they would say I'm like pretty easygoing. Like I kind of like that's like because my mom is the same way. Like she just goes with the flow, and I try and do the same thing because it's like. Like it's more pleasant to be around people who are like that, I guess. I don't know. But kind of like Grace, like the girls I'm closest with besides my friends are my 2 cousins. Like we're born a month apart, and they like our relationship is like my favorite thing ever. Like we literally see each other like every week. Like we have sleepovers all the time. Like I literally tell them everything. Like I love them so much. And I feel like if they had to describe me, it would be just like I don't know, like loud. Like I feel like that's like a problem. Like I need to sometimes, but like I don't know.
That's great. Okay, we've got passionate, funny, and loud, and maybe sometimes annoying. We have all of those things in the room. So, school is on the horizon, and like I said, when this airs, it's the first day of school. What is one or two words of how you feel about school starting? Leela, let's start with you, and then go down the line.
I feel like I would say not necessarily anxious, but more just like I don't want to say excited, but like I'm just like ready to start. Like I just want to like get into like my flow of stuff so I can like get back to like my routine and everything.
Messiah.
I'm kind of excited. So I'm going into my senior year, and I'm actually kind of saddened as well because I mean, who knows, this is going to be probably the last time in a long time I'm going to be seeing some of these peers, but hopefully not. But I'm excited and a little saddened by the fact I'm going to be leaving as well.
So you have
But
nostalgia just going into the year. You're
yeah,
walking into it knowing like these are the lasts.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Grace.
I'm excited, but I also just don't really want to go back to school. Like summer's been really nice, but I'm excited to have like a routine again.
Yes, I told you before we started, my daughter said the exact same thing. So let's think about curriculum. What is something that you are excited to learn about this year, Messiah?
Well, honestly, just
Honestly, yeah.
there isn't like much of going to my senior year, but just getting through it, scholarships and grants and decisions, stuff like that. So mainly just I'm really learning like right now, like going to the year, um, like to learn like to look into scholarships. So that's one thing I'm learning to look into and learning to do. So and that process has been going on for like a couple weeks now, or since the summer started. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Interesting. Anything that Leela, Grace, that you're looking forward to learning?
I'm taking a global politics class and like one of my favorite teachers teaches it and I'm really excited. Like he'll like bring up a topic and it's like mainly current events and like all that stuff and like we just like get to discuss for like the entire class and I'm really excited for that. And also taking DP chemistry, which I'm kind of scared for, but like I'm really excited. I feel like that's going to be a really fun course cuz I love chemistry.
What is DP?
Okay, so it's like I go to an IB school, so International Baccalaureate, and your first like couple of years you take like honors classes, and then your last 2 years you take like DP classes. So it's like and it's a 2-year course, so it's 2 years of material like split over 2 years, obviously. But then at the end of the 2 years, you get tested on all 2 years of material, and it's like the most insane test ever, and I'm like dreading it. But I don't know, I'm excited. I feel like it's gonna be fun.
Yes, yes. Grace?
I'm excited for like some of my classes, like photography. I'm doing that. Like I've never done that before, and I'm really excited. Also, like Italian. I'll be in like Italian 3 this year. I'm excited for that class.
You know what's so interesting to me is in asking you about the things that you're excited to learn about, we have real world things like applying for grants and loans. We have the curriculum that's challenging that you're still excited to dig into. And we have the arts. So I think that says a lot about curriculum that speaks to young people.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it for this segment of Our State of Education, powered by the Skillman Foundation, investing in brighter futures for Detroit's youth and students across Michigan. Thanks for tuning in. More ahead on Our State of Education on 760 WJR. Welcome back to Our State of Education, brought to you by the Skillman Foundation, which believes student, parent, and teacher voices must be at the table when decisions are being made about our schools. We're continuing our conversation with high school students Geresy, a junior at Grosse Pointe South High School, Leela Dahabra, a junior at the International Academy in Oakland County, and Messiah Bethel, senior at Jalen Rose Academy in Detroit. And Angelique, let's pick it back up.
We paused when we were talking about curriculum, And I kind of want to stay there for a second. Is there something that you wish was taught in your schools that is not currently being taught? Anyone?
Maybe like more things that are just like about like different like opinions and different stories like for history, not just like one thing from like the winner, maybe from like different viewpoints. Like I think we just like for like classes we focus on just like one viewpoint, like the one in the textbook, but like I think we should really like look at different viewpoints because it's like different it's the same time in history, but like different stories.
Mm. Leela, you talked about this global politics. Is that what it was called? And that sounded so interesting, where you are sort of studying different things and having what sounds like a civics conversation. In your IB school, what do you wish you were learning that you're not?
Um, I think my curriculum for the most part is very like what Grace was saying. Like it really does take perspectives into like all accounts. Like it really like focuses on like all different sides of history. And I feel like it's not as biased as I've like my others like history curriculums have been. But so I don't know if there's necessarily anything I would like want to change because I feel like they've done pretty good in that aspect. But I feel like more like I want to say like dialogue based classes, like just like being able to like there's like a prompt on the board and then like the whole class can talk about that because like I did this like summer youth dialogues program and it was super fun because like the whole program was just centered around like dialogues, like just like having conversations with people your age. And I feel like if more classes were like on that same basis, I feel like it'd be really beneficial and like people would be able to like have a conversation without like getting mad over other people's opinions and stuff. I don't know.
Mm, mm, mm. Yes, Messiah.
This may be something like a little simple, but I would say just cursive writing or penmanship in general. Because I know I don't want to say a generation, but I know a handful of students or peers of mine that don't know how to write their name in cursive at all, or even half of their name in cursive. So, and going into just adult life or life in general, you're gonna have to sign stuff, and well, if you don't know how to write your signature, I mean, like, what is that? Like,
Yeah, it's sort of a deeper thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's a whole lot of stuff that can go through with like just penmanship in general. So just learning, not even learning, just doing like cursive writing or just penmanship in general, uh, like activities or just courses can help further those like younger generations like me or my generation or the generation after me or before me.
There is actually a bill, I think, that has been introduced, and I don't know if it's in the House or the Senate locally, about cursive. So we should all look into it
Yeah.
On the next break. Let's talk AI, which is sort of the opposite side of that. How do you all feel? I mean, I'm sort of the Luddite. I'm the one who knows the least about some of these things. But people are using ChatGPT for homework and they're using AI in all these different ways. Grace, you're smiling. How do you feel about AI?
I really like AI, like mostly. It really helps me.
How does it help you?
Well, if I have like a question, I can look it up. Like I was like for my friend's party, I was like, AI, what should I wear? And it gave me so many options. And also like for yearbook, we had like so much like data on like senior superlatives that we just put it through AI and it was 2 seconds it came out of like who won. But it also there's like a downside of AI. Like it's like less creativity and it's also like more people are cheating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to put you on blast, but do you ever use it for homework in that way? Okay. Well, we won't answer that question. I mean, how could you not, right? Like it would help you. When I was younger, we would go to the encyclopedia, right? We had them in all of our homes. We would pull it out. We would look something up. If you were not smart, you would write verbatim what the encyclopedia said, but you would usually like have some sort of prompt tools. Do you think that young people are using AI to do their homework?
Yes. Or like maybe like check your homework. Like if you wrote an essay, you can just send it in and it can check all the spelling mistakes, all of like the grammar mistakes, update it, and then
Yeah.
You take some suggestions.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? AI?
I feel like what Grace was saying, like in moderation, but like I would say like very moderated because I feel like it's just like it's not like my Kabir, like my SAT tutor was like talking about it, and he said the reason why like SAT scores are so important now is because like everyone has a 4.0, like because ChatGPT and like all these AI, like you can just put your homework in and then get a good grade on it. Like so like now they like have to revert back to like standardized testing just to see like who actually is deserving of the 4.0 and who isn't. And I also think like people don't understand like I've used AI before, but like people don't understand like how big of a deal it is, especially in like college and stuff. Like there's this one program, or I forgot what it's called, but there's this one program when you input a question and like you have an account that you're logged into and you input a question and the software hasn't seen it before, it will like log the question and log who like said it and who like uploaded it. And if your like professors or your university finds out about it, like that's like cause for expulsion. Like, cause if you're caught cheating, like it's like, but also on like the other hand, some of my teachers have like made assignments that it's like put your essay into ChatGPT and say like find like 10 things wrong with it or find 10 things I can fix. And like in that sense it's really like useful. Like I find it helpful, and like sometimes like if you just ask a teacher, like obviously like there's sometimes like I haven't asked a teacher, but like if you just ask and you're like, can I put this through ChatGPT and just like see what I can change, they're probably going to say yes.
Mm.
I don't know.
So you trust ChatGPT or AI that the information you're getting is correct?
Not necessarily. I think like every like it's like a good reference point. Like, oh, like I hadn't thought about that. But then there's also times like some of my friends have like used it to find like quotes for like a book, and the quotes just weren't in the book. Like they made them up. So that's why I say like everything in moderation. Like you shouldn't be reliant on it. But I also think like it's like helpful if you need help, but like shouldn't be like your first step, I guess.
Messiah?
Yeah, I would say AI is a great tool for inspiration, not exactly just like your work. So to go upon with like if you have to write a school essay or something for like English class or something, you can probably get some inspiration on what to write about, or if you already have in mind, like just tell AI to make a whole essay and just take points from that, and actually take points from yourself from actually what you collected from your English class, but don't exactly just plagiarize the whole thing, because you never know. Because I've actually had experience like that during my English class. That's why I'm bringing it up. Um, AI could just give you a whole. You could ask it to write something about a topic, and it just give you like something that relates to it, but
Not accurate.
not accurate.
Yeah.
And like I said, that happened to me in my English class actually this past year. And actually, when I redid the paper, I actually got a 100% on it because I've actually used my original idea, and I compared actually the AI and my idea, and I see what was wrong with it. And it was mainly because you can definitely tell, like, from what my topic was and from what I put in that ChatGPT, the one I put was more authentic. So my biggest takeaway is just you can use ChatGPT, because actually at my school, like some of the teachers advocate to use it, but don't just go to full 100% with ChatGPT. Just use it as an idea or a leading tool.
Thank you all. This was really informative to me, honestly.
This brings us to the end of this part of our conversation with our high school students. Our discussion with the students continues in the next segment, so don't go anywhere. There's much more ahead on Our State of Education, brought to you by the Skillman Foundation on 760 WJR. Welcome back to Our State of Education, proudly supported by the Skillman Foundation, partnering with people to transform education and nurture the brilliance and power of Detroit youth. We're continuing our important conversation. Angelique, reintroduce our guest and take us back in.
We are having an amazing conversation today. We're talking with three young people. We have Messiah Bethel, who is a senior at Jalen Rose Academy here in Detroit. We have Leela Dahabra, who is a junior at the International Academy in Oakland County. And we have Geresy, who's a junior at Grosse, Pointe South High School. Welcome back, you all. I want to talk a little bit about the schools themselves. You know, in Michigan, we have 850 school districts. We have a wealth of different types of schools. We have traditional public schools, we have public charter schools, we have private schools, we have religious schools, a panoply of different types. But often what we don't hear is actually what the experience is inside of those schools. So, have any of you switched schools so that you kind of got a different perspective of one school versus another school? And if so, what was that experience like?
Oh, I switched schools in elementary school and like a little bit like till like 5th or 6th grade. I went to a private school. It was like a religious school and it was they skipped over some parts of like education, like coming to Grosse Pointe during COVID. There was like a bunch of like math I didn't know, science, history. There was a lot of history I didn't know, and there was also coming to Grosse Pointe. There was way more experiences. At my old private school, there was like nothing really you can do like elementary school kinda, and like going into middle school. There was like no activities to be involved in. But here at Grosse Pointe, I'm really involved and I really like it. I do a bunch of clubs and activities and I really found like what I want to do when I'm older and I found myself.
What do you want to do when you're older?
I want to be go into film. I want to in like TV. I want to do like film directing and I want to do screenwriting, but I also want to do like live television, like the Olympics, like NFL and like SNL.
Fantastic. So, Messiah, did you go from one school to another, and what was that experience like?
Yes. So I didn't necessarily like switch schools between like from middle school and high school. I just switched schools mainly from being promoted from 8th grade to high school. But that experience was it was like it was different. So I went to not Jalen Rose, Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences, actually on
Mhm.
Jefferson, and I've been going to that school from I want to say 1st grade to 8th grade. So usually well, not usually, but I literally like grew up with those people there, and that 8th grade ceremony that year as a whole was just like everybody had an idea on where they was going. So some people with the cast, the U preps, Grosse Point North, um, and etc. But me, it was like I didn't want to, cause my school was already big enough. I didn't want to be in a bigger environment. But I also wanted to be in a more comfortable environment for me. Uh, so I already had prior knowledge of Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, JRLA, and I went there. And it's a smaller setting uh, than a traditional high school. It's a charter school as well. And going there it was a whole different, entirely different community. So just new people from 9th grade orientation to now, and some of those people to this day are some of the best friends that I had in my life. Some of the greatest people I've met. Um, and yeah, I mean, from uh, DAS to JRLA, it was very different. Because I mean, I'm not used to seeing the people that I used to see from when I was I don't want to say a baby, but I was a kid, 1st grade to 8th grade. So just being around a whole new crowd and a whole new community was just great for me. Cause now and I also made new connections through Jalen Rose School and different programs that I'm a part of through the school. So yeah,
And what a big lesson to learn that, like, you could be deep in community and you can always form new community.
yeah,
And that one isn't necessarily better, but that, like, you have the ability to create community wherever you go. And
yeah,
as a senior going into what's next for you, that's a huge
yeah.
lesson to carry. I do want to come back and ask what's next for you. But Leela, what would you say?
I would say like growing up, I live in like a predominantly white area, and like obviously my family isn't white, so I kind of felt like ostracized, and I never really got like bullied or like discriminated against for that, which I'm really grateful for. But I know like my brother, like he definitely had it a bit worse than I did, but I never really went through that, so I didn't really feel maybe as like isolated as him, but it definitely felt a little bit odd. Like I have like a different last name than everyone else, like all of that. But in high school, like I wanted to go to Berkeley High School, which is the high school in my area, but my parents made me go to International Academy, which I'm really grateful for now. Like, I love my school, but it was definitely like a culture shock, like going in and seeing like, oh my God, there's like other Muslims, there's other like Arabs here, and there's like people of like other races, not just like the one Arab and like white people. It was really cool to see, and like I've definitely made like great friends there. Like it's like a different sense of community kind of, because it's like people of your own. Like you can make friends anywhere, but like when it's like your own people, it's really different. So it's like it was nice to be able to finally like make those bonds after like so long. So I feel like I don't know, switching schools was definitely scary because like I didn't know anyone at the beginning of high school, but like I'm so grateful for it now.
Well, first of all, shout out to parents, right?
Yeah.
But also, it's so interesting what you all are talking about has to do with the culture of an organization. And that is so much of a school experience, right? And it's not one culture that works, but it's different cultures that work for different students at different parts of their lives, right? Grace, I feel like you want to say something.
Huh?
Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. I thought you were like, had something that you were like dying to get in there. So have you all, whether it was in your former school or in your new school, have you seen something that you felt needed to change? And if so, did you do something to change it?
I feel like I've said, my school I'm very grateful for. Like I feel like we're pretty like diverse, and we're like I'm more democratic and my school is more democratic, so I'm very happy about that. I feel lucky. But I would definitely say I know like a lot of other schools, especially it's a big issue for me when like learning about like Middle Eastern politics. Like it's very like one-sided and very like all Muslims are bad and like all Middle Eastern people are bad, and well, obviously I didn't believe it, but like hearing that all the time, like it really gets to you. So like if I could change one thing like about like middle school or elementary school, it's just like not teaching like hate in schools. Like I feel like obviously, you know what I mean? But like it's just like frustrating to have to go through that. Like you're teaching like children to like hate other people just because of one thing that happened. And it wasn't till I got to high school that like I was in a history class that like wasn't like openly like I don't know, not necessarily like discriminating against, but just like shaming Middle Eastern people for like what happened in their country. And in middle school, I guess it wasn't, or elementary school either. It wasn't like to an extent, but it was just like they would say some things and I'd be like, that's weird. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I would change that. I get like in elementary, middle schools, but no.
Yeah. So keeping sort of the global politics, the bias out of seeping into schools, but bringing global politics in as a way to like create conversation and understanding, but really trying to figure out a safe way to bring it in. Wow. What about you all? Is there anything that you would change quickly? Because we are going to break shortly.
I would agree with like the global politics and like even like the US politics. Like my US history like class this year, like you knew who was like a Democrat and who was a Republican. And even like in elementary school, like it was like really like there was like extracurriculars, but it was only for like guys. It was really sexist, and I
You
don't
would
I think
change that.
yeah, I think that really needs to be changed.
Okay, Messiah, we're going to come back to you after the break.
A lot of ground has been covered with our high school students, and there's still more to unpack. So stick with us. Our final segment is coming up right after the break. You're listening to Our State of Education, brought to you by the Skillman Foundation on 760 WJR. Welcome back to Our State of Education, sponsored by the Skillman Foundation, where we follow the will of Detroit youth to dream big and design new possibilities together. Angelique, let's turn it back over to you to reintroduce our guest and continue the conversation.
Thank you, Lloyd. We are here with the brilliant Grace Geresy she's a junior at Grosse Pointe South High School. We have Leela Dahabra, who is a junior at International Academy in Oakland County. And we have Messiah Bethel, a senior at Jalen Rose Academy in Detroit. We ended with you, Messiah. I want to come back to you. We were talking about a change that you might want to see in your school and what you do about it. What would you say about that?
I would say so throughout my high school career, there has been a lot of change from year after year after year. I would say this past 11th grade year, there's been a lot of drastic changes. In that, I'm not gonna go deep into it, but it consisted of policy, staffing, and just community overall. And there was a whole situation. I want to say it wasn't back in January. I want to say back in March or April, um, where it was just it was bad for, I want to say, the student body and just the students in general. Um, there's a whole article on it if you want to go into that. I'll tell you about that later. But it involved students. I don't want to say. Well, I'm gonna say unfairness to the students, and for us to have our voice heard and to make a change to it, we actually hosted a peaceful protest. So we did a walkout, um, and that was about for 45 minutes. We walked around the whole school. We did a walkout, just to protest. I mean, we had the news showing, recording us and all that. It was a pretty big deal for students, especially with us, because if nobody was gonna speak up for it, it was not gonna be solved. So me and a couple others decided, well, if we want to have a voice for our students and, well, fight for what we believe in as our education, this is what we'll do. We'll have a protest. We'll share what we have to do and share what we have to say. It also resolved. I mean, not resolved, but later went to us going to the board. Well, a couple of my peers going to a board meeting. That same, I want to say that same day or a day after, and expressing. Well, even parents were doing that as well, expressing what they saw and what they felt, and just going into that to further my voice and involve myself more into that. I've actually ran for student government vice president and won. So just going into my senior year as well, I won't even hope or try. I will make this year better for the entirety of the school, not just my senior class, but make this the best year for upcoming freshmen, upcoming sophomores, upcoming juniors, and the seniors as well.
You know, we're going to need a new governor in Michigan soon. So, in
I mean,
case you are thinking about running, you know, what you're saying is so important. And I love it because it's really what we do at Skillman. We invest in all kinds of systems change. So, we invest in people who organize, who pursue different ways to share their voice of what's wrong and what they want to change. And we also invest in, education advocates that work within systems to try to make policy changes to impact the most people. So you just encapsulated our
Yeah.
work really well. Okay, I know that we are drawing to the end of our podcast. I'm bummed because this has been so fun for me,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go back to a Zoom meeting probably after this. But I want to know from you all. You're talking about the change you can make today, but 10 years from now, you'll be in different parts of your lives. When you picture yourselves 10 years, what is that? What does that look like for you? What is the change that happens in you, and what are you doing in the world then?
I'm not really sure what I want, like what career I want to pursue yet. I've always wanted to go into law, and I think I want to be like a international like human rights lawyer. Like I really want to like, that just sounds like something interesting to me. But in the future, I hope like I can, I don't know, I don't want to say like make some sort of change because obviously like everyone wants to do that. But I just want to like, especially like I'm Palestinian, so I just want to be able to do something that like directly impacts like my family and like that. So I feel like I just want to do something that not even just like Arabs, anyone. Like I just want to like help in some way because it just like I don't know, I feel kind of helpless just like watching everything happening in the world and like not being able to do anything about it. That's why like that career sounds appealing to me. Um I don't know. And it's just like I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
That's beautiful. Are you sure you didn't want to say one more thing
I was gonna. It was kind of like the question before,
before?
but I don't know if we have time.
We do.
Okay. Like I was saying, like how like to make change like that. I think it's important to like lead with like your morals and your beliefs, because I feel like when people try and like evact change, like the reason it doesn't really work is because they're not behind the cause 100%. And I feel like if you really believe in something, you have to be able to like really like go for it and like stand by what you mean. And it's like, if that means like not surrounding yourself with people who like don't share the same like morals and like understanding for like basic human rights for any topic, like I feel like it's just like important to like surround yourself with people who will support you, and like that's the best way to make change. I think it like starts small.
Messiah, 10 years from now.
10 years from now, well, I plan to have a career in psychology, specifically sports psychology. And
What does that mean? I don't know.
sports psychology?
Yeah. What do you do?
So, well, I can't, well, I mean, I'm on the spot right now, but to put it in simpler terms, they work directly with, let's say, a team or sports team where they just mainly focus on how, because you know the player plays, they play, but the main thing that also could go into like their performance on how they play, if they're playing bad, why are they playing that way? Like, is there something going on, or even physically or mentally? So it's just a psychologist for athletes or whatnot.
That's beautiful. That's very cool. Like Dan Campbell, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have like a way of working on the culture of the team?
Exactly.
Yeah. Grace, 10 years from now.
10 years from now, I just like want to be like able, like, I see myself like telling stories and being like a storyteller, and also like doing like what I love to do like every day. Like I feel like that would be a dream. In those 10 years, I would want to like travel. Like I want to see like Europe. I haven't been to Europe, and like go to all the continents, and maybe like even do Olympics. Like I really want to be like a PA or like do cameras for the Olympics. But I just want to be able to like tell stories and that like most people don't hear. And I want to have fun, and I want to do what I love.
Beautiful. This is the first day of school when this airs, and you guys are going in. And at the same time, this is a time where state legislators are having big conversations around what is the school budget going to look like? What are we going to put forth? If you had advice that you would give to Michigan policymakers about how to approach education in Michigan, what would you tell them?
You gotta like actually like ask like the students and the teachers. Like you gotta actually start putting teachers and students first. Like a lot of like our school like system is just about like the money and like the politics, and it should just be like, it's like teachers are the ones that like teach us, and if they don't get paid right and if they don't get treated right, kids aren't gonna learn.
Amen. Do you all have anything to add on top of that, or is that a good place to wrap?
Kind of going off what Grace said, like the people like making like the legislation for schools, I feel like it's important to like know what you're prioritizing. Like I feel like I see these like Yonder pouches that are like super expensive, and they like just lock your phone for the whole day. And like instead of spending money on that, you could like buy new school supplies, like build a new AC system. Like there's a ton of other things, and it's just like when it's like it really annoys me when I see like schools like focusing on dress code instead of like focusing on like actual issues that like the students are facing. I feel like it's just like they're not prioritizing the things that are like actually like eating at the school. I don't know. That's it.
Centering students. Yes. Anything you'd add? Last word, Messiah?
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay. I just want to say thank you. This was so informative, and this was actually a lot of fun. With that, I hope you tune in, and I hope you all come back and tell us like more about what you're doing after the year goes, okay?
Thank you, Angelique. That wraps up this month's edition of Our State of Education here on 760 WJR. We hope today's conversation sparks some new ideas and a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities facing our schools and students for the future of education. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next month with more voices, more insight, and more hope for the future of Michigan students on Our State of Education, only on 760 WJR.